Okay, right. I've had a request from Jemima to do the wars at the end of the cold of U.S. foreign policy. So I believe what she means is the wars in Kuwait. Now, America has a very long history of helping out the little guy, but often it's not really helping out the little guy. It's protecting their own interests. So basically, what happens is in 1990, Saddam Hussein invades Kuwait, which is a tiny, tiny country next to Iraq. Now, the US has oil interests in Kuwait, and Saddam Hussein, who's a bit of a mentalist, he hasn't got much money in his country, and he sees Kuwait as a sort of rich prize. So, President Bush Sr., not Bush Jr., that's the other idiot, Bush Sr., he wants to get the Iraqis out of Kuwait. So, what happens is the United Nations impose sanctions, and then USA and Britain and other countries send troops to Saudi Arabia. Now, this sounds a bit weird. Why would they go to Saudi Arabia if they're in Kuwait? But this is called Operation Desert Shield, and this is important because they're trying to shield the place where there's loads of oil, because immediately when you think of oil and you think of the Middle East, you just immediately think of Saudi Arabia. So this was the first thing. So, prevent a possible Iraqi attack there, and now they're going to start pushing people out of Kuwait. Then we move on to they begin fighting with an air assault, which is called Operation Desert Storm, which begins 16th of January 1991. Forgive me, I don't really know this bit very well, so this is why I'm glancing over to my book. I don't know this bit very well. I'll have to revise this bit before tomorrow. But there we go. Okay, so Operation Desert Storm, air offensive, planes, etc., cruise missiles, electronic warfare, and they basically tear apart Iraq's military, basically. And then we have Operation Desert Saber. So basically what we do is we shield Saudi Arabia, protect it, then we come in and basically blow them to bits, and then we launch the ground offensive Operation Desert Saber on the 23rd of February 1991. And by the 27th of February, Kuwait City had been taken, and the US ordered a ceasefire. Basically, unfortunately then, what was allowed to happen is Saddam Hussein was allowed to, basically what they wanted is they wanted him to remove his army out of Kuwait, so most of his army was intact. So in the end, they were, as a result, he was able to attack other places at the end. But this is the first sort of foreign policy thing after the Cold War. America does the right thing, joins in with the UN, coalition forces, a force for good, helping the little guy, but in fact, defending the oil interest in the area, shielding, storming in, and then the ground offensive, Operation Desert Saber. Hope this helps, Jemima. It's quite brief. It's not a great deal here, so I do a bit of revision on it, but I wouldn't worry about it too much because I don't know anything about it either. So anyway, it's called the First Gulf War, and it happened from 1990 to 1991. It began sort of late 1990, and it was all over by the end of February 1991. So fairly short, fairly simple, makes sense, 3 stages to it, loads of, sort of group of opposition, fairly simple stuff.